On July 26, 2025, a routine afternoon at Denver International Airport turned chaotic when American Airlines Flight 3023, a Boeing 737 MAX 8 bound for Miami, faced a sudden emergency. As the plane accelerated for takeoff, a severe landing gear failure forced the crew to abort at high speed, averting disaster but triggering panic. Smoke and flames erupted beneath the aircraft, prompting a rapid evacuation onto the runway for all 173 passengers and 6 crew. The incident, unfolding in full view of the airport, underscored both the dangers of air travel and the effectiveness of emergency protocols. This report reconstructs the critical moments, the crew's response, and the wider implications for aviation safety. Flight 3023's takeoff began like any other, with passengers settling into their seats, flight attendants securing the cabin, and the hum of anticipation filling the air. The early morning sun cast a golden glow over the tarmac as the aircraft prepared for departure, and the crew completed their final safety checks, communicating with ground control and reviewing every detail. With clearance granted, the 737 MAX 8 accelerated smoothly down the runway, its engines roaring to life. The wheels gathered speed and the nose began to lift ever so slightly, signaling the moment of takeoff was near. But at nearly 127 knots, just shy of the critical speed for liftoff, the pilots made a split-second decision to abort. Their voices remained steady as they radioed air traffic control, calmly reporting a suspected landing gear malfunction. From the control tower, the situation looked dire. Smoke and flames were suddenly visible near the aircraft's landing gear, and it became clear that a tire had failed in a catastrophic way, sending debris and sparks flying. The pilots reacted instantly, slamming on the brakes and deploying all available systems to bring the jet to a halt. The aircraft screeched and shuddered as it slowed, using every foot of the remaining runway to stop safely. Flames erupted from the landing gear assembly, quickly growing in intensity. Both American Airlines and the Denver Fire Department confirmed the fire, and emergency crews were immediately dispatched to the scene. Inside the cockpit, the pilots worked in unison, running through emergency procedures while flight attendants moved swiftly to prepare the cabin for a possible evacuation. Their training and composure under pressure were now being put to the ultimate test. With the aircraft disabled and the fire threatening to spread, the captain gave the urgent order to evacuate. Passengers were instructed to leave everything behind and move quickly to the nearest exits, where inflatable slides were deployed. As emergency vehicles raced toward the burning jet, firefighters and airport staff prepared to assist. In these critical moments, every second counted, and the actions of the crew and responders would determine the outcome of this unfolding crisis. Inside the cabin, what began as a routine flight quickly spiraled into chaos. The hum of conversation and the gentle clatter of drink carts were suddenly replaced by gasps and cries of alarm. In a matter of seconds, anticipation turned to terror as passengers realized something was terribly wrong. The plane shook violently, overhead bins rattling and loose items tumbling to the floor as the aircraft lurched sharply to the left. The sudden turbulence sent shockwaves of fear through the cabin, and people instinctively gripped their armrests, knuckles white. 17-year-old Shay Armistead, traveling with her family, described the jarring vibrations that seemed to shake the entire plane apart. She remembered the look of panic on her mother's face and the way her own heart pounded in her chest. Then, with a sudden forceful stop, passengers were thrown forward in their seats. Some hit the seatbacks in front of them, while others clung desperately to their loved ones. Mark Serkis, seated by a window, watched in disbelief as a wheel broke free from the landing gear and rolled past the wing, vanishing from sight. The surreal image was burned into his memory. Moments later, thick smoke and bright orange flames erupted beneath the wing, sending a wave of dread through the cabin. The acrid smell of burning fuel filled the air, making it hard to breathe. Panic swept the cabin as fire became visible outside, with shouts and cries echoing through the aisles. Some passengers prayed, others screamed, and many simply froze in shock, unable to process what was happening. Flight attendants sprang into action, their voices cutting through the chaos with clear, urgent commands. They moved quickly, preparing the cabin for evacuation and instructing passengers to remain calm and listen carefully. The smell of smoke grew stronger, stinging eyes and throats as passengers waited anxiously for the exits to open. Every second felt like an eternity as they struggled to stay calm. "Leave everything!" the crew shouted, their voices urgent and unwavering. People abandoned their bags, wallets, and even cherished keepsakes, focusing only on survival and escape. The ordeal was a stark reminder of how quickly a routine flight can become a fight for survival. In those moments, nothing mattered except getting out alive. For everyone on board, the fear, confusion, and relief of those harrowing minutes would be impossible to forget, a memory that would stay with them long after they reached safety. With fire threatening the cabin, the captain ordered an immediate evacuation. Flight attendants deployed emergency slides, guiding passengers out as smoke thickened. All 179 people on board escaped down the slides, some sustaining minor injuries in the rush. On the tarmac, evacuees watched emergency vehicles surround their burning plane, a surreal, sobering sight. Medical teams treated several for scrapes and sprains. One person was taken to the hospital for minor injuries. Buses soon arrived to transport the shaken passengers back to the terminal. Airline staff met them with support, beginning the process of recovery and rebooking. As soon as flames were spotted, Denver's airport rescue and firefighting unit raced to the scene. Specialized vehicles doused the burning landing gear with foam, containing the fire before it could spread to the fuel tanks. Their rapid, precise response was critical in preventing catastrophe and protecting evacuees. Airport officials and law enforcement secured the area, keeping passengers safe and operations orderly. The seamless coordination between fire crews, airport staff, and security showcased the strength of emergency planning. Once the fire was out, American Airlines grounded the damaged jet for investigation. The airline focused on passenger welfare, arranging a replacement flight to Miami later that evening. The ordeal, though harrowing, ended with everyone safe and the crisis contained. The emergency triggered a ground stop at Denver International, halting all arrivals for over an hour. Flights were delayed or diverted, causing a ripple effect across the national air system. More than 300 flights were delayed as one of the airport's main runways remained closed for investigation. Passengers from Flight 3023 were sequestered in a private area, receiving support and updates from airline staff. American Airlines provided food, water, and a replacement aircraft, ensuring no one was stranded overnight. The disabled 737 MAX 8 became a key piece of evidence, remaining on the runway until federal investigators arrived. Eventually, it was towed to a secure hangar for further inspection. The incident highlighted how a single emergency can disrupt thousands of travelers and airport operations nationwide. In the immediate aftermath of the incident, all eyes turned to the investigation. The Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA, wasted no time in launching a comprehensive probe into the landing gear failure and the subsequent fire that broke out. Their swift response underscored the seriousness of the situation and the urgent need to determine what went wrong. Teams of inspectors meticulously combed through maintenance records, analyzed flight data from the black box, and examined the damaged components piece by piece. Their goal was to pinpoint the root cause of the malfunction, whether it was a mechanical defect, a maintenance oversight, or something else entirely. The incident quickly reignited widespread concerns about the Boeing 737 MAX 8, a model that has already faced intense scrutiny and controversy in recent years due to previous accidents and technical issues. For many travelers, public confidence in the aircraft remains fragile at best. This latest event only added to a growing list of aviation scares, leaving passengers and industry professionals alike questioning the safety of the 737 MAX 8. The findings from this investigation could have far-reaching implications. Depending on what is uncovered, there may be sweeping changes in how airlines approach maintenance, how manufacturers design critical components, or even how the aircraft itself is certified for flight. If a design flaw or manufacturing defect is identified, airlines around the world could be required to implement new inspection protocols and safety checks across their entire fleets, potentially grounding more planes and disrupting travel. For now, the Boeing 737 MAX 8 remains grounded, serving as a stark reminder of the ongoing challenges in aviation safety and the industry's relentless pursuit of safer skies for everyone. Ultimately, the outcome of this investigation will not only determine the future of the 737 MAX 8, but also influence how the entire aviation industry approaches safety, oversight, and public trust moving forward. The Denver incident was a dramatic test of aviation safety systems, and crucially, they worked as intended. The pilot's quick decision-making, the crew's calm leadership, and the fire department's rapid response together averted disaster. Seamless teamwork between airport, airline, and emergency services ensured every single life was protected. Yet, the event raises urgent questions about aircraft reliability and ongoing maintenance standards. The FAA's investigation must lead to transparency and real improvements wherever flaws are ultimately found. Every incident is a lesson, an opportunity to strengthen protocols and help prevent future crises. For the passengers, the ordeal was unforgettable, but it proved the system's remarkable resilience. Above all, it reaffirmed the industry's core principle: safety is, and always will be, the highest priority.